We're on a new recording website. We have a new name, the CheekCast. Welcome to the CheekCast podcast, episode 2. We're going to continue to talk about toxicity. We decided to change the name up a little bit because we didn't want to step on any toes, and there's a lot more established podcasts with the name Porch Talk Podcast. And we wanted to do something a little bit more community related. And I got the Cheek Squad, that's my sub squad on Twitch, and I was shit, CheekCast, that's what they voted for. So Cheeks.
It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out.
Also, since we're talking about Twitch, there's gonna be a new thing with the new website we're on. We're on Riverside FM. Tier 3s are, I can get audience keys for tier 3s to where they can come in and listen in real time while we record.
Fancy.
Which is going to be, I think that's going to be cool. I think that's a nice little perk for being a tier 3.
I think that's good. Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be good.
So,
it'll be good for them.
With that being said, that's the intro. Congratulations, you survived another one.
Back for episode 2. How much longer will we last? We will find out.
Find out in the next episode of. However, we're going to be talking about about toxicity today, because I feel like we only talked for like 10 minutes about toxicity in the last one.
We didn't get a chance to cover everything.
We didn't get to go through everything. We didn't get to talk about what games brought it on. You know, we didn't get to talk about anything like that. And so that's the plan today. That, and we're going to talk about how BRs have led the way for even more toxic video games as a whole.
Yeah, we're going to touch on some stuff. We have an hour.
Oh, yeah, we got some time.
We've got time to talk about it. So I know we did touch on a little bit of it in the last podcast from last week. What are our experiences recently, like in the past year or two, or even the past month or two, regarding toxic behavior?
I told the story about last time about my emotes getting banned and everything, so I don't think I need to retell that story. But
yeah, they chased your boy down.
I remember there's been a couple, and I remember the biggest one I remember right now coming to the top of my head is I remember playing Apex back in like the height when I was getting like 150 playing Apex, right? And my box got teabagged, and I remember going, "Wow, what a fucking pussy for teabagging my box, dude. That's toxic as shit, right?" I remember yelling that. I was like, "Dude, what a piece of garbage teabagging a box, bro." And I think one of my chatters went over there and started talking shit because he had TTV in his name, because 95% of people do now. And they went over and started talking shit, and he came back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you." And I'm like, but that means that you would have just did that to some random ass dude. Like, because
he was apologetic,
just
because you're a big streamer.
You can't see me doing the finger quotes right now, the air quotes, but because I was clouded, he apologized for teabagging my box. I'm like, so you were just...
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was a big thing. He ended up getting banned in my chat for being a wiener.
Bro, I pray for the day that I can be toxic to a big name streamer. Don't let me catch you motherfuckers out here slipping.
You hear that, Shroud?
Well,
if you failed a Glavicus in fucking Lost Ark one time, my boy Charmelio's coming for you.
I'm gonna roast your ass so hard. I'm gonna come into your chat, roast your ass, then go back into the chat in game and roast your ass. Be like I'm in 2 places at once, roasting your ass. God.
Let's not make this a whole podcast about roasts. But yeah.
but that I remember that one. That one kind of, I made a whole TikTok about that because that kind of made me mad. That kind of infuriated me, to be honest.
I think the teabagging has always, it's been a thing that I remember since at least early Halo days.
Oh yeah.
But it's annoying, it's obnoxious, it can be a little toxic. I don't think it's like a non-vocal trash talk though. But it's those people in Apex that when I was seeing is people doing, spamming the finishers like for 30, 40, 50 seconds, so you can't do anything. You're just stuck looking at that
Oh,
screen.
those are
That's a
those are
little annoying.
horrible.
That's toxic.
Bro, have you
Somebody
ever
put
seen
some
those?
That's a
Have you
little
ever seen those,
toxic.
Thomas?
Yeah, I've
Dude,
seen it.
where they do it for like 2 minutes straight. They spam, dude. That's some toxic shit.
That's toxic.
That's pushing some boundaries. And yeah, anytime someone feels the need to literally, whether you killed them or they killed you and they just didn't like the way you played, and they seek you out on other platforms outside of the game just to shit talk you, send you spam, report you, whatever the case is. Like, I don't understand where it's gone so bad to where it's a problem like that. That's stalking. It's low key stalking.
You wouldn't have survived COD lobbies. COD, you know where they left it? In COD lobbies. Sometimes it'd go
name.
to DMs, and people would sit there and sit. I fucked your mom. Well, I fucked fucked your dad, and then you just block them or something, right? But now people go to your social. They go to your Twitter and they go, "Imagine getting rolled by me," and then you're like, "Okay," and then they're like, "Okay, you blocked me on Twitter. He blocked me on Twitter. What a fucking weirdo!" And then they go to your Twitch and they spam and they send their buddies to spam. I mean, there was the DVD one where I killed a 4-stack. And they came into my chat and all they did was start spamming that I was fat. And I'm like, I know. And I'm just sitting here streaming. It's kind of crazy.
I don't know. It's frustrating because not everybody is like that, obviously. But how does it feel like the majority of gaming communities in most games now feel toxic? Like, we used to be able to say, hey, this specific game has a problem with
this. It's because people think it's funny now.
I guess
it's the new trend. They do that shit. They do that's what their friends say. They're like, the big content creators on TikTok who shit on Rivers of Blood players in Elden Ring, for example. They go, people who use Rivers of Blood should just be smited where they stand. And I'm like, it's a sword in a video game. Like, why does that upset you?
How does that affect you? Like,
because it doesn't. But if one content creator says it, then everybody else is going to start saying. There's a lot of people who don't think for themselves.
It's a
lot of influencing. Like, it's the whole reason we talked about I Show Speed last week, is because it's not the fact that he was toxic once. Like, that's his whole shtick. Is he's just loud and funny. Well, he tries to be funny, but being loud is his thing. But being toxic, it wasn't it's kind of bad that he was toxic, but it's the fact that he has impressionable 12-year-olds watching him at the same time. And
absolutely,
they're learning, people find this funny. So they go into their own game and go, I'm going to make a TikTok about it and try and do their own toxicity.
I'm going to be famous.
Exactly. And that drives a lot of, people repost some of the dumbest shit on TikTok, whether it's toxic,
that is
whether it's stealing somebody's content, because their goal is to be famous. Because everybody wants to be famous now.
That is, unfortunately,
wasn't that like a thing where like it pulled kids from the 90s and was like, what did you want to be when you're an adult? And it was like someone like an engineer or something, or a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. And then they pulled kids from today, and they're all like, yeah, I want to be an influencer. And it's like,
I want to be an influencer. I want to be the next fucking what is his name, the Minecraft YouTuber, the fucking Tommy Innit, who's like 16 and has 7 million on YouTube. I want to be the next Tommy Innit. I want to be Dream. And I'm like, but the thing is though, is what people don't realize is those people work for it. Just stealing
really
content.
Lucky.
Exactly.
Luck is a big, especially on the internet.
People say that luck doesn't exist when it comes to being a content creator. People think shit. I've made the same content for 5 years, and only in the past year did people start just recognizing it. And there's people who have blown up faster than me and stuff like that. But people think that being toxic is.
It's not to take away from the idea of it being also hard work, but hard work's only going to get you so far. If people don't know that you exist
And
they
yes,
don't come to you, then
True.
it's hard to build.
streaming itself
Yeah.
is not hard, but everything else about it is hard. Editing and all that
Sure.
other kind of stuff. But that's off. We're off topic. We just started spitballing.
We're gonna always
That's
go
gonna
off
happen,
the
'cause
rails.
we're
It's
gonna-
okay.
yeah.
It's okay. So,
I
what?
told you last time I was gonna take this shit off the rails every time.
What do you feel the most toxic games or game communities are? Obviously, number one, I'm gonna say League of Legends. It's up there. Okay.
I'm gonna say MOBAs in general. Any third person.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like Smite because I've never played those, but I know Dota and League are unrealistically toxic.
Even Heroes of the Storm was pretty bad.
The developers of League, being Riot, literally talked about removing all chat entirely because the game is that toxic. That's how bad
Which
it
is crazy.
They said we're going to remove an entire aspect of chat just so you guys can't be toxic to each other.
That's bonkers. That literally blows my mind that it comes down to that because of people being so impatient or hateful or whatever the case might be. Mind blowing.
Bro, you died once, run it down mid, like relax. Holy shit.
I mean, dude, we played a game the other sorry. I played with Eggy the other day. We had a situation where we played bot lane, I think it was. And homie didn't get help or he said question mark because Eggy got killed. Right. And he died. I said question mark. And him and his duo ran into our lane and just started farming minions. I'm like, it's one death. There's 4 minutes into the game, and you guys are throwing completely. And then they literally just put on macros to say the N-word over and over. And I'm like, dude, you're joking me. I think I had them both blocked, but they started just doing some really dumb shit and saying some really stupid shit. And then the other guy in our group was like, or the other guy that was in the game, the random, was like, dude, I don't know what's going on with these two. I'm like, have you not seen? He's like, can I get some help? And I'm like, do you not notice that these two, this guy has bought a single dagger? He's just,
wow.
I'm like, this is bad. So we put that game as a wash. I'm like, dude, one death and homie was completely sideways.
Lost his shit.
I'm like, this is mind blowing.
I know there's other games out there.
Rust.
Oh,
I would say any
like
online survival game like Rust, Ark Survival. Those are all super just. Ugh. Talk about being.
It's a Tom Clancy game. Siege or whatever.
I would see yes, Siege.
I mean, you could probably go in depth and just say FPSs in general.
I hate to say that all FPS games have a toxic community. I mean, I'd love for someone to comment and say, hey, I play this FPS game and it's not that bad. I know there's people that probably have played mainstream shooters and have never actually encountered
but the thing is, though, is the people who've done that, you're not going to experience toxicity if you play with friends. If you're CS:GO and you're 5 second, you're 5 second in Val, 5 second in Siege, you're playing Apex with a full 3, you're not going to see as much toxicity as you would solo queue. The people who play solo are toxic as shit.
It's just
even the Souls community now is toxic. And that's because Elden Ring introduced all these new people to the Souls games, and everybody talks about PvP and they just constantly complain about what other people are using.
Isn't like this the one that has like the worst PvP of all the Souls games though?
Yeah, this PvP is butt cheeks.
That whole issue with the Souls community, I'm air quoting here, saying that they've always been elitist. No, not really. I've been following the Souls games for a really long time. I'm dog shit at them, but I've been following them for a long time.
Bro, they're some of the most supportive fucking communities, dude.
And they were always, there's always a few people that are going to say, oh, I beat the game in 6 minutes. Great, good for you. But for the most part, like, there's speedrunning communities, no-hitting communities, casuals, the storytellers, whatever. And they're normally not toxic or, gatekeeping or whatever the case is at all, that's a new feature with Elden Ring, and I still stand by my saying that it is a cultural issue, not just a specifically game related issue. It's easy to say all the toxic people come from COD or whatever the case, but we all know that's not true. And people like playing more than one game, and those toxic people are shifting from this genre to this genre and still being dickheads for some reason.
We all know
And
the
it's
toxic motherfuckers come from Twitter.
Twitter.
I will say, going back and playing CS:GO recently, I have noticed that a lot of the toxic people that played it, like the super toxic people, they all play Valorant now. So
Yeah. Well,
I haven't in fucking 25 games I've played. I think I've run into like maybe one person who's toxic. It's either they don't talk or we're all just goofing off the whole time.
yeah. Well, that's a positive, I suppose.
Bro, you having fun playing CSGO? What the fuck?
Imagine
How dare
having
you?
fun playing CS:GO.
How dare imagine having fun playing any game. If you're not suffering for the grind, you shouldn't even play the game. You don't deserve to play it if you're not in pain all the time. Mentally and emotionally and physically.
True.
All the
True.
time.
True.
What are you guys seeing in the gaming atmosphere of what other people are experiencing or saying about toxic behavior?
I actually, a lot of the toxic stuff that I see has been recently on Twitter. Like, oh, dude, I saw this really gross thread that I told Thomas about yesterday. Apparently, somebody's okay. This is about to be this is gonna be kind of gross. So if you're listening and you don't
Oh,
like gross
Lord.
stuff, this is gonna be kind of gross.
Ooh.
Because it has to do with Lulu, NRG Lulu. I think she's on NRG.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas knows what I'm talking about. She said,
Oh,
just
no.
she said something about like just be, men don't fetishize like women or something like that on online spaces and stuff. Just wear normal clothes. Men won't over sexualize you. And I feel like this is somewhat toxic. There's literally there's a whole subreddit dedicated to just ass pictures and people just jerking off onto their fucking phones over Lulu,
No.
dude.
Bruh.
And there's
What?
literally threads of people
No.
going like nut tribute video. There's people posting
Bro.
pictures of it on their phone with like just splooge on it. She has some. If you want to talk about
Oh,
jerk and
come
talk about
on.
Lulu, DM me. And I'm like, dude, come on now. Like that's
Imagine building a hobby off of
dude,
that.
that's
Like, what?
fucking gross,
Bro, what's the step above toxicity?
dude.
Like,
That's just being weird. And I'm like, I
That's
see that, and I'm like, dude, that's gross.
I'm telling you, some behaviors that we are witnessing in this day and age that we could see as toxic or weird or whatever, I'm telling you, some of it is some low key stalkerish shit.
Bro, like this
I
thread,
don't like
this
it.
thread
That,
is
you gotta
so
hope the
weird,
girl's
dude.
strapped. Like,
It's people just like she's got some ass, and it's like a super grainy picture of her walking down the street, and I'm like,
Good.
that means you were like you were a block away, fam, and you pulled your little Nokia flip
And
phone
zoomed
out,
in.
and zoomed in, and took a picture.
it's that JPEG that's been saved
Bro,
15
you dead ass
times.
gonna post your naked leg, a phone, and some nut on your phone, and cover it up with an emoji of a shrimp, and post that shit on Reddit. Dude, like, I don't know if that's toxic. I don't know where that lies on that fucking scale. But
It's not okay. I can
that's-
tell you that.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
That's
Like,
the
there's
most
a
recent one
boundary.
that I've seen. I saw that last night, and I told Thomas that. I was like, oh my god.
No, that's gross.
And if
That's
you're
gross.
interested
Well,
in reading the thread, it's still up on Reddit. You just have to, or
Reddit or Twitter?
Twitter. You just have to look up Lulu on Twitter. It's like
it's
it's one
probably
of her
on
most
Reddit
recent
too.
posts. Dude, I mean, those fucking threads are on Reddit.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I can tell you, I just recently, I think I told you, I was watching Sleepy, the Overwatch streamer, and he was playing with a healer, another healer that died and blamed Sleepy the whole game. So the guy literally ultimately ended up just throwing the game by switching characters and just sitting in the corner of the map not doing anything. Now, granted, that it's still a toxic behavior because you're mad that someone's not playing a game the way you want
See,
it played.
I miss the old days of stuff like that, where back in the old days, Thomas remembers this too. You probably do too, Lisa. If somebody's being an asshole to you, you know what you wanted to do? You would try to play better because you wanted to prove that you weren't dog shit. Nowadays,
Sure.
people get shit talked one time or die
And yeah.
inappropriate. They die because their healer didn't fucking heal them or something, or they missed a heal. They missed a single bullet as Anna, and sorry you didn't get that 50 healing, right? And
Yeah.
they just go, well, I guess I'm throwing now. And instead of I remember the days where in Call of Duty somebody would call me dog shit in the middle of a search match, and I'd be like, well, I guess it's time to pull out the fall intervention and just dog on some people. Instead of just going, I guess I'm just going to shoot my M9 in the air until we lose. Like, when did the losing become the new cool thing to do to troll or to throw?
I'm not sure. I don't know. There's a lot of lines blurred when it comes to toxic behavior, because definitely not all of it is shit talking or getting people blocked or reporting them or whatever the case is. Some of it is just the way you act while you're playing a game, and
It's
just
crabs in the bucket. That's what it
it's
is.
Crabs in a bucket. That's a good rendition. Yeah. If you can't be positive, and if I can't be positive, then you can't either. And that's why I tell people, dude, if somebody's being toxic, you just block them. The best thing you can do against somebody who wants a reaction out of you, because that's what they want. They want a reaction. Just fucking mute them, block them, so they can't speak to you. Because you know what that's gonna do? One, that's gonna piss them off, or just be nice to them, gaslight them, act like you can't hear them. I did that for a whole Valorant match, and we won.
I love gaslighting people.
I just started
Sleepy did gaslight that guy.
Yeah, Sleepy did the same thing too. I was just like, I can't understand you. And then I had the whole team laughing aside from him, acting like we couldn't understand him, and we kept morale up when we won.
Well, that's what
because we were goofing off.
And it's okay to not play the game like you're getting paid to do it.
Which, oh my god, dude, there's so many guests. That's half the reason that I posted on Twitter that I don't know what I want to be competitive in, because I can't seem to not see Apex as a competitive game.
Because it's supposed to be for fun.
Exactly. To me,
all
playing
these
CSGO
people
is
are trapped in mental slavery. Because, like you just said, Lisa, they ain't getting paid to play these games. Why are you trying so hard? Enjoy yourself.
If you're playing Apex for 14 hours a day, grinding for top #1 pred, and you're not making content, what are you doing?
True.
Why are you doing that to yourself?
You're wasting some of your own talents at that point.
Dude, just stop. Do something. At least make content out of it, bro. Try and be somebody off of that. If you're going for #1 pred, stream at least.
Yeah. Do something.
Just don't make it. No,
you're wasting it.
Imagine being #1 but not recording. The only reason you don't do that is if you're cheating.
Which
I would never do.
That leads us into another topic. That's a good segue. Into another topic.
Send us into the next topic, Lisa.
We know we're adults here. Okay, we've experienced things. We know cheaters, hackers, whatever you want to call them, exist.
I mean, I just got walled by a Pathfinder yesterday.
I know. I know people like to believe, there's no such thing. You're delusional. You're just bad. Get good. I don't think people really understand how available and how prevalent and easy it is to get cheats onto your system to cheat in a game. I don't think there's free, there's paid, there's super high level. People don't understand that when you're cheating, you're just running an app, a program, a line of code that does something to modify the game you're playing. People say, "Oh, it's not available on console." False. Completely false.
Whoever says it's not available on console, I'm going to put this into perspective for you. There were more cheaters banned on PS4 alone in Apex than there was on every other platform combined. there was I think the numbers were, I could be completely wrong, but I think when they said they banned cheaters, I can just put it into perspective. It was let's say 100 were banned on PC, there were like 60 banned on Xbox, and there was 340 banned on PS4. That's the amount of cheaters that were on PS4 as opposed to any other console.
Which, in all reality, there's a lot of cheaters that go completely unnoticed, because when you're paying that $35 a month for that premium tier wall hack, they're meant to be undetectable. They know how to work around the anti-cheat,
and those
it
dudes
might be.
want you to come back and pay for another month of $35. You know,
they wanted that's why they don't make it look blatant. It's
exactly.
It's called soft lock, soft aiming. I mean, for God's sakes, there's pros that have recently been caught cheating.
Yes, and we do have a couple examples as well.
I'll even give you examples of when I cheated.
Shut up, Thomas. Get out of here.
Banned on 3. No, but we have Kenji from Vanguard, on Vanguard, who got caught cheating recently, which is just
he was caught wall hacking.
Yeah, because he decided to show his screen because people were like, he's cheating, and he literally has boxes on his screen. Mind you, this is like one of the number 2 Vanguard 2v2 player or something, and the number 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't he like one of the top players?
Yeah, he was one of the
like
top
trying to show off, and then
showing
his stream fucked up and showed the wrong scene.
The stream, because his stream bugged out and showed the boxes on his screen. Like, imagine he got on a team playing Call of Duty, and decided that he was good enough to cheat. And he probably cheated the entire time to get to the top. Got to the top because they wanted.
Yeah, most likely.
And that happened. But what's crazy is, imagine how many cheaters there actually are. That just soft cheats. Like, you don't understand how much just walling in a game and like not
changes
making
the outcome.
You can just know where everybody's at and then play like you massive. Don't, and it's massive. Like that's so crazy.
Yeah, because you can see where people are going to go, and you can avoid those areas where you're going to get.
And it doesn't look suspicious.
Yeah,
you can make it not look suspicious. You can not pre-aim somebody through the wall, but have your crosshair just a little past them, or a little behind them, or in front of them, and then hit a flick and one tap them in CS:GO or Valorant or playing Apex. You can see walls. You can predict you can see where people are going to rotate to, and then off of that alone, you can win the game and play spots properly. Like, the game's played an entirely different way, and I would estimate that there's at least 30 to 50% of people cheat. Period.
I would say of
the top players. I can't say just everybody in general, but if you have 750 preds and 1,000 masters, I'd guarantee at least 40% of those people are cheating.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't have a number, so I can only speculate.
Well, that's all speculation too.
It's unreasonably easy to get a hold of any sort of cheat software. I Google it. Get on Google, pick a game, and type on wall hack, aimbot, soft lock, whatever you want to. You'll find one. You'll find hundreds.
Oh yeah.
And the devs of these companies, or the publishers, whoever gets stuck with the legal battle of it, literally has to go after this person or these companies that are distributing and charging money for these cheats. And it takes time because they have to go to court. They got to find out who owns it, who made it. They got to take them to court, and they got to hope. It's a process.
And they usually can't do anything about it because those people aren't in the United States, or they're not in the publisher's country. Correct. So it's
correct. It's almost never handled.
Exactly.
There have been other streamers or pros that have gotten.
You can say,
caught.
Hey, putting Vanguard on my PC, because Vanguard you have to install on your computer to avoid like it's kernel level. It's like brute level access in your PC, and it's like, you're gonna think that's no. There's literally been somebody who was in the Valorant, who was in VCT, who is a pro player that got caught cheating. And they recently bumped up his competing. He can't compete for 3 years in professional Riot competitions. That I feel like that's light. The homie got caught cheating. I think he should just be permanently banned.
He was just straight up cheating in the middle of a tournament. Yeah, just flat out cheating.
We got the guy
Better
from
snitch you
CS:GO
all
who
this
had
time.
Word.exe on his computer in a
Yeah.
LAN event.
Yeah.
The infamous clip Clara.
I don't remember. This was a while ago. This was quite some time ago, and I don't have the article on hand. There was someone that went to a pro tournament and had a USB entered in his keyboard that he was using for the tournament, and they didn't know he had it. There's some crazy shit that's happened. Last year, Royal 2, I wasn't familiar with this guy. He apparently is a pro in Halo. This is a different type of cheating that most people probably aren't aware of. He apparently, in the middle of a match, was caught what they called geofiltering, where essentially he had the ability to only get the lobbies that he wanted. So he wasn't getting the matches that the game was trying to put him in. It was messing up the matchmaking, so it would put him in the preferred lobbies that he wanted to be in to his advantage. So they considered that cheating, and he got a temporary suspension from Halo matches. I don't remember what exactly it was, but that was interesting.
Oh,
But there are a lot
I
of different
I
types
just
of
pulled up
cheats.
Royal 2's little thing here so I could see what he was doing. It is a different kind of cheating. And the
It
reason he
is.
got banned for it was he was using it because everything's online now. They're not doing LAN. Granted, they're getting ready to start doing LAN again.
Yes,
But
because then they can control
he
the
wasn't they weren't
peripherals.
playing on LAN. He was making it so everything was turned off, is what they said. They said he was forcing everybody to play on all but one or only one of the US servers, which was West US 2. So everybody
Okay,
who was on US East was lagging.
there you go.
And that's why he did it, is because that would, having high ping makes it so
ping advantages
you don't see, it's crazy. You see them later than they see you, and you just get one tap before you even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So even something as much as 25 ping can have that big of a difference on somebody. And he was using
100%.
that in he was using that in a open
In a
series
pro
and
match.
qualifier matches.
Yeah.
Like the amount of stuff that people will
And
do to actually win is just
to win.
is insane. They'll do everything
Yeah.
but practice.
Apparently.
I mean, that was
for
pretty crazy.
those
Even just like finding a hack like that.
Finding a
is kinda
loophole to do.
crazy,
They said he
yeah.
just disabled all the other servers from bouncing off of his game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's actually pretty smart. Huh. Not that I'm defending like what he did, but like how you go about that like is pretty crazy. And you would think that like
from that aspect,
the
yeah,
server
it is
itself
crazy.
should just like kick him out. Like it
Yeah, and
shouldn't
You
be.
would
the fact
so.
that he found a workaround for that is pretty surprising. It's interesting, but
It is
he's still
interesting.
cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people listening who might have ever been in any sort of competitive game, if you've ever seen someone skipping across your screen, yes, people have crappy internet. That can happen. 100%. Someone from uh, Asia could be playing on an NA server and have terrible connection, and you have packet loss where the, you're not bouncing the data from one side to the other correctly. But there is a thing called lag switching that a lot of people, it's been around for a very long
Used to be
time.
big in Black Ops.
Huge.
It used to
back
be
then.
huge and you could do it on console, you could do it on PC, and essentially what it does is it literally changes the way your connection to the game is working, and it causes your end to, well, your connection to the game to lag, but I've never used one, so don't quote me on this, but it normally puts you at the having the advantage in the game, and that's why you as the other person on the other side of the screen are trying to shoot the person that is literally skipping around.
Yeah, you want
And you
updated
can't
info.
I mean, I just posted
because
a
the
clip where
data's not
I just
there.
posted a clip where I was shooting a Valkyrie that was teleporting across the map on her screen. She probably wasn't doing that, but on my screen, she's literally
absolutely.
appearing in different places because of her connection being so bad.
Yep. And just, know that if you see someone skipping across your screen like that, they could very well be lag switching. It is a thing. Um, you can Google it, look it up. It's been around. There are lots of different ways to cheat. Um, they're easily accessible, affordable. Some are free. The only risk really is losing your accounts.
entirely. Yeah.
And I mean, but look, even these pros are only getting temporary bans. I mean, it's not like
I
they're still
mean,
gonna play the
That
game.
contributes to toxicity.
bro.
Motherfuckers
Absolutely, it
not getting
does.
their
See a
comeuppance.
CS:GO team who fucking they said they threw to get skins. They got a permanent ban. Yet somebody who cheated is only out for two years. They can just come
Yeah,
back and play after 2 years.
it's just it's kind of
I mean,
it's kind
both
of
of them are
crazy.
ruining competitive integrity. So
But
why you gotta complain about
either
like
permaban them or give them both a set
yeah,
amount
give
of
them both
time.
the same sentence. I mean, it's virtually the same thing. It's
Yeah,
actually worse that they cheated more than they threw because
I think
the other team didn't get robbed of an opportunity to advance because technology was helping the other team. The other team was just like, fuck it, I don't care.
yeah,
cheating in my book, it should just be an instant permanent ban. I mean, people were petitioning for a Taxi 2G. I don't know if you know about Taxi. Taxi is like he likes to do the exploits. He likes to do the crazy shit in Apex where you like stand on a caustic trap and catapult yourself across the map. Right? It's a speed glitch. He
yeah,
got caught doing it, and his account got banned. So he made another account and continued to do it and got banned again, but he got hardware banned this time.
yes,
And people were upset that I said he's ban evading and exploiting. He should be permanently banned, and he's not now. He's still playing, but
yeah,
I think there should be no remorse for that kind of stuff. That's the reason it keeps happening, is because
yeah,
people they're like, oh, I can just keep making new accounts because all these games are free. Apex is free. Valorant's free. What's the point in not cheating? Like if you don't spend any money on that account, fam, you can just people just can just keep doing it over and over.
and they will.
It's the same reason that certain games aren't cheated, is because they're harder to keep up with. It costs
Yeah,
money to like. I mean, people can say Rust, but you can buy like a Rust account for like $5 that already has Rust on it and some playtime. But certain games that are expensive, like it's the reason that WoW isn't even as hard botted anymore, is because the price of it's gone up.
it's not that the price went up, but they did have a botting problem during the earlier years, and people are paying to use the service and not get their resources botted. So you were paying good money to play on these servers, these public paid servers. So they put money into it and they made it so botters were way less of a problem. I think I think they cured like 90 to 95% of all the botting issues in WoW.
And we pay for that, but like all the free games that people want free, 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 and like I get that, but you just have so many just bad things like cheating happening. That's why I like Rocket League, even though I don't really play it anymore, is because it's free. But how the fuck are you going to cheat in that game?
True.
Like
Bro,
people
I
have
can
said,
I can see
Besides
my
giving yourself
trajectory
skins.
if and I know where the ball's gonna go. I see everything. It's
people
got
have made
lines that go all over
AIs
the
Like the
place.
people have made
Matrix.
AI that can do that,
That's true. That is true.
but you're not going to beat Squishy.
Um
So
oh my god. Um I don't know if this is something we can touch on, but just for conversation's sake, Thomas having a tech background, what solutions are there? What can developers do or should they do to make better changes to on cheating or even toxicity? I mean, like what can be done?
Unfortunately, it's just like it's like a game of who can build a better mousetrap. So, you do one thing, and then the botters or the cheaters, they change up their strategy. Now you got to go figure out how they're doing that. You come back and they do something else that you didn't expect, and it goes back and forth. Um,
Sure.
but a lot of times the issues are kind of isolated.
Mhm.
Let's take like Lost Ark for instance, where they had all the botters and everything. And they're really concerned about everything. What they did is they shifted the primary resource that botters are using to generate money to the later game. So it took a lot more time for the bots to actually accumulate their
Yeah.
wealth and then stack it up. That's a good strategy. There's some other things that they could actually do where they could take botting behavior and something that's kind of universal to, I wouldn't say universal to bots, but that's more centralized to bots, that's different from your usual player. And you basically build reports around those players, those behaviors. And by reports, I don't mean like a person reporting somebody. I mean like a query of data.
Yeah.
And you take that data and you just kind of you work with it a little bit, you manipulate it a little bit, figure out where your edge cases are, but really hone in specifically to what the bots are doing, and you're going to find
Sure.
trends. When you find those trends, you can build AIs to auto ban those things.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the question becomes, if it's obviously a lot of tedious, hard, repetitive work to keep botters out or locate cheaters or new exploits or hacks or whatever, is it worth it for the game devs to keep up with it and actually continue trying to, because I feel like a lot of games just give up,
It depends on
like Call
yeah,
of Duty.
it depends on how accessible the hack is. I mean, in Call of Duty's case, like their stakeholders don't give a shit because another Call of Duty game is going to come out next year and everybody's going to buy it.
True.
People are going to
Every single
rinse
year
through the
too.
same
Valid
mistakes.
valid
Like
points.
in this case, in Call of Duty's case, it's the community's fault.
Absolutely.
They complain all the time about, this is bullshit. This is, we got cheaters here. We got fucking Toxicity here, but you're still just buying the game
You're
for
still buying
no
the game.
reason, and it's the same fucking game that it was last year.
Pretty close.
It's
yeah.
the same thing with like FIFA. Like y'all buy another fucking FIFA game, and it's literally got the same fucking banners from last year
And
in
what
the game.
what blows my mind
Yeah.
even more is you buy it and then you complain about it.
Yeah,
You say, wow,
like,
this game is worse than last year. And then what do you do every day you wake up is you boot that bitch up and you continue to keep playing.
And then
Yeah,
what do
you
you do
don't
next
like
year?
something about a game, just stop playing it. When
Yeah.
they notice more when their numbers go down than you bitching about it on Twitter to your 6 followers. They don't care.
Literally give zero fucks.
Even when
You know what?
when Hal posts, dude, this about Apex is dog shit. And people go, this is going to change. It's not going to.
It's not going to.
If he were to say,
You know what?
I'm not playing the game till they fix the audio, they're fixing the audio in 3 days.
True. This is a good segue into another topic though. BRs. You mentioned Apex. BRs and what their influence, their impact has been on gaming in general, as well as social construct, social interactions online. Because we all know we came from COD lobbies, Halo lobbies, whatever. There was trash talking. We know the difference. Some of us know the difference because we grew up with trash talking. It wasn't being a complete toxic piece of crap. It was literally just saying a couple funny things and then you get mad and you'd move on to the next game and no one cared anymore. But it seems like since BRs got popular, behaviors have changed in gaming in general. And I don't think it's just gaming. I think it's more of an internet culture issue because, Twitter, Reddit, cesspools where people can build up their anger and become little mini mobs with pitchforks. Yeah. But how do you think BRs have influenced social behaviors
Negatively.
And do you feel that it was BRs that specifically started this or did it just catapult the behavior?
I
Like,
don't think it's BRs specifically.
I don't think BRs.
it's just,
I think I agree with
Yeah.
Thomas though. I don't think BR started it. I think they have boosted it though.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
just the short form, because what now? Like back in the day, playing Call of Duty, playing Halo, those were long games.
Sure.
Like as long as in it'd be 10 minutes for you to play a Team Slayer on lockdown, or
Mhm.
8 minutes. Now with battle royales, it's quick. Every game's different. Every game's it's fast paced. You can land and you can hot drop. You can die in 2 minutes and be back in the next game within the next minute and a half. Just
Yeah.
and it's that short form entertainment constantly.
Yeah, that fulfillment that you get from just being able to play. You're not waiting. You're not trying to practice.
No,
Oh, I
because
fucked up. I'm fucking raging. I'm going to the next game. Fuck these people. Fuck the next people. We going in, and
then with the SBMM that they have in those games is after you hot drop 10 times and you get bodied all 10 times, you're going to face people who are dog shit, and you're going to run into them and you're going to roll them.
Then you got this ego,
and then that's going to make you feel gigantic. Your ego's going to boost. Your head's going to get big, and you'll be like, I can fucking rickroll anybody. Then you lose the next 5 games until you get to another one of those lobbies that is way lower than your skill level, and it just repeats. And people constantly play for that feeling again. People don't have that feeling anymore of playing Halo and winning a tough 49-50 Team Slayer game where you pulled it out last minute with a fucking snipe or playing the fucking power weapon heavy rocket. You didn't have to learn that. You can just pick up whatever gun you want and just shoot at people. There's not anything you have to practice. You just practice aiming and a little bit of movement. There's no tactics or maps. Like, there's some map awareness, but the zone tells you where it's going to be.
I think the competitiveness of, well, I wouldn't say necessarily competitiveness, but the systems in which these game developers put in to simulate competitiveness, like ELO, MMR, these things, I think they fluctuate too much. You don't really have a lot of time to get used to the area that you're in, so you can't really get good or understand where you're playing poorly. It's just like, oh, I'm either getting shit on or I'm shitting on somebody else. There's not really that in between. There's not that gratifying feeling of overcoming a hard obstacle.
And that's all battle royales do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a gigantic difference between plat and diamond. In Apex, there's a humongous difference. That's why I don't know if it's recent, but in like season 10 or something, it was like 23% of people were in plat and like 6% were in diamond. Is because,
which is crazy.
When you get to plat, you can get to plat by just playing casually and not even learning anything. But then you have to learn slight things, like when you should rotate, when you need to run away, where the good drop is. Just really simple stuff that people don't ever learn, because some people come home from work, they boot up Apex on their Xbox 360 or Xbox One, and they just drop with their buddies somewhere random, and that's what they do. And then they get mad that they're not playing well enough or being competitive enough. The thing is everybody sees those games now as a job, even if they're not a job. You just like, dude, I have to win. There's $4 million on the line for this random pub match, bro. It's a pub match on Olympus, and if I don't win this, bro, FaZe isn't going to notice me.
I mean, some people do feel like that.
And that's gotten to that point where it's just every BR is that. Every battle royale is just that.
Everybody trying to pretend that they're mean girls,
I mean,
it doesn't help that they're free. They're so accessible.
And that's the reason
everyone immediately goes to them.
That's the reason BRs aren't ever going to go away, even if we want them to, because they're free.
They got the hook in everybody's mouths. We're all enslaved to VR.
And I've said to people, go, dude, Apex is so bad. Apex is bad. There's no sound. There's no audio. There's this. There's that. And then what do? They boot that shit up and play it every single day. Every day of their life they play it. And I go, you know what the biggest thing is that you could do? Like if the top 5 pros in Apex all said, we're not playing this game till the audio's fixed, they'd fix that shit in a heartbeat. Because if Hal's not playing to his 30K people, that's 30,000 people that aren't seeing the game and being reminded to play it that day. Being reminded to spend money on boxes. Being reminded that Hal has 6 heirlooms and they have none, and they need to spend more money to get them.
They need to donate more money to Hal so he can get more heirlooms.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I am not one for BRs. They are not my cup of tea. But I know that the majority of people nowadays are totally okay with BRs, and they've kind of overtaken your standard, gaming groups. Like everyone
Everybody
plays
plays BRs now.
something. They all play Fortnite or whatever the popular, flavor of the week
Yeah, it
game
gives them that
is.
dopamine rush. That's all it's
Yeah.
about.
And we do feel like BRs must contribute to the problem to some degree. I agree with you guys. That totally makes sense of growing too big of an ego. Let me share a theory with you about Apex specifically. I'm not the only person. Now, granted, I did play my first games with you, Bobo, but um, I have actually heard from some of your viewers, as well as reading some things online, that apparently most people, when they boot up Apex for the first time and play, win their first 2 games.
Yes.
How crazy is that? That's some sort of weird ass conspiracy. You must be playing with bots or the
It's not
absolute
it's not a
worst people.
conspiracy. No, that's 100. Fortnite does the same thing. So does Warzone.
You win your first 2
And,
games? That's
your
crazy to
first
me.
2 to 5 games are going to be the easiest games you're ever going to play. Fortnite, the first game I came back and played solo. Why do you think it looked like I was rolling through people? Because there were literal bots in the lobby. There's AI coded into the game. The one that ran up to me when I threw the one up, that was a bot. Because that was one of the first few games I played. Apex does the same thing. Your
so
MMR
crazy.
is so low that they're either putting you with people who never win games or who don't ever get 200 damage a game because they want you to keep playing. You win 5 games in a row, you win 2 games in a row, you win 2 out of your first 5 games, you're gonna be like, oh dude, I'm gonna keep going. I want that again. I want to do it again. And then you just keep
you're never gonna win another game.
And then you never stop playing. You just keep going because you want to hopefully get to that win again. And that's what you do. And it's proven. It's actually proven in Fortnite and Apex and Warzone that's what they do. PUBG too. PUBG too. When you first come back, because they want you to keep playing, so they're gonna make your games easy.
So, how, in terms of Apex, how do you personally? You took a very long break. Some people might not know this, but you pretty much completely stopped playing in October, November of 2021. You had just had enough, and you took like a 6-month break away from Apex. Didn't even have it on your computer. How do you feel like the game has changed from when season 0, back when you played it super early on?
Oh, I played the day it came out.
You did, and then you took a small break because you were playing other stuff. But how do you feel it's transformed as a game from then to now? Getting back on it recently.
It feels like there's and when you first started playing in the early days, there was like the meta of having a wingman and a peacekeeper because they were the 2 strongest guns in the game at the time. Like they were beyond broken compared to everything else. And it feels like if you're not playing a meta, but now there's a lot of legends and a lot of they're all pretty balanced in their own way. They all do their own thing. Sure. There's a lot more variety in what you face, which is a good thing. So you can, to a degree, I guess what I would say, because you say there's a lot of variety, but then you play ranked and it's the same 3 teams because they're all using the same movement, the same bubble, the same fucking booster from Valkyrie, the same scanner from Bloodhound or Crypt, But playing pubs, like if we're talking strictly pubs, there's a lot of variety because there's a lot of legends, a lot of different combos, a lot of different like bunker strategies or hard push strategies, which is really interesting from the beginning of the game. Beginning of the game, people didn't even know how to climb windows fast. People didn't know where all the bubbles were. It's the same. But Apex is experiencing the same thing that Fortnite did, which is I feel like is going to be power creep, which is they're going to start getting to a point like where Valorant's getting, where some of the beginner characters are going to get really hard outshone by some of the newer ones because they're eventually going to run out of abilities to be able to put in the game. And that's already happening. Apparently the new guy is going to be a better lifeline. And I'm like, her skills are so outdated compared to the beginning of the game. Like the game is a lot about movement. It's at the beginning it was about having good aim. That's why people like Shroud and like big names back then were like super good at the game because it was all
Yeah.
about aim and less about movement. And now it's you can get by on having good movement. You can get to diamond just by being able to move around people and not get killed.
Yeah.
I feel like the game's taking a downturn
Okay.
just because I think at the beginning Respawn was in heavy control of Apex, and that is not true anymore. It is a lot of EA, so EA is making a lot of the decisions for the game, and they're not
That would make
fixing
sense.
certain problems that are gonna inevitably show up. Like people still want audio fixed, people want certain things fixed about the game, and I feel like they're not listening anymore.
Yeah, because everything's money with the publishers like that.
Yeah, with old Respawn, they listened. They were really good at it. I actually really like Respawn, but
Yeah,
now they've
I
kind of fallen
remember.
off the horse, and EA kind of took the reins, and now EA is making these decisions, and that's why you get six events a year, and they're all just skins.
Yeah.
You get the same recycled content. We've had Flashpoint 2 or 3 times now. We know what it is. Like, why not make a new one? It's just, but they wanted to release more legendary
make
skins
adjustments,
to get more money.
Sounds like the devs being toxic to me.
And I feel like
their managers.
I feel like they need to take,
managers.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to focus on the gameplay and focus on the actual fun of the game again, instead of just letting money and skins rule. Like, I want for viewers out there, if you play Gibby and your favorite skin is Bretta Bear, why the fuck do you want to buy the Hot Rod skin form that you're never going to use just so you can look at it? You can tell your friends that you have it.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. They release like recolors for other skins, and you're like, I don't know if I really want that. But you buy it anyway. Like,
yeah.
That's why they do it, is because
it happens.
The whales exist. People are going to spend a lot of money on video games, and that's what they do.
They want it that way, for sure.
I feel like I went on a tangent, didn't answer the fuck question, I'll be honest with you.
God damn it, Bubba.
I mean, do you feel like, okay, so let's make it simple. Do you feel it's in a better place than it was when it came out? Because so you feel like as the game gets older, you see more negatives than positives.
Yes, and I do 100%, and I feel like the community is another one of those, because now that the community is everybody listens to what everybody else is saying. Now there's like people are sucking the fun out of the game. If you're like, I want to play Fuse solo queue, they're gonna get mad at you because Fuse is meta.
Yeah.
In the old time, people were just like, "Oh, dude, you play this character?" And then you play him, and they're like, "Wow, you have fucking 100 kills already." And now we're at that point where people are like, "This guy's 300k on Bloodhound." They go, "Who cares? I'm closing up on him." Like 300,000 kills on a character is insane. And people,
it's insane in general.
You know, but stuff like that is just interesting to me.
I wonder
Meta slaves is also like a big thing in Toxicity. Like, oh, you're not playing the exact
meta. You're not playing with the perfect runes.
True.
You're not using the perfect build. You're not.
I am an anti-meta, so everyone gets mad at me.
She is anti. I think the only game I managed to get her to play meta in is Tiny Tina's.
No, even then I didn't go through exactly what they wanted.
I think that bothers me about like the meta slaves too, is that as much as they bitch about other people not having a meta setup, you look at their setup and they don't have meta shit either. They're completely off brand
because they don't know what they're doing.
Fake it till they make it. Yeah.
They read a guide on it. I mean, I noticed the same thing playing, as dumb as it sounds, playing Monster Hunter World. I'm not the best Monster Hunter World player, but I've never Googled anything. I'm just like, I see this armor and I made my own build. And then it's close to what the meta is online from Poe actually sending me stuff. And then we play against these other people who have read the guides on how to farm levels the fastest. And they're max level with the gold number, which is like super hard to get because they got carried. And they play these builds that they don't know how to use. They play like a fucking defense build. And they're like, what is that? It's like, you're playing a build that you read somebody do for like memes, but you don't actually know how to use it or play it. You make the same one I do, but you don't know how to use your weapon. You just use it because somebody else does.
Because someone else told you
to.
You're
not playing. People don't play for fun anymore. People.
And they say they're still meta-ing to this day.
People play to win. People play to be the best. People don't play for fun anymore. Even the people who play at top level in a lot of games, they don't fucking like the games they play.
Sadly, there are a lot of examples of that, which we don't need to be down talking any streamers or
No.
pros that are
Not to name any names, but
not
I've seen
in love with their games anymore.
I've seen a few tweets of people just saying, "I don't even know why I chose to play Apex professionally. I don't know why I chose to play Valorant professionally." And I'm like, but they do. That's their job now.
Because they made their fun their job, and then jobs aren't always fun. So that it definitely can contribute to being unhappy. And even for people that aren't making money, though, if you too much of one thing can sometimes be a bad thing.
Yes,
so
I agree.
Burnout is real. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, where does that leave us? I think we're on the 1 hour mark.
We're about to. I think we just passed the 1 hour mark, and I feel like we did. I feel like today was really good.
Yeah,
we pretty much touched on everything we needed to touch on. There are some other things that I wanted to talk about, but we can catch those next week for the next episode. That's okay.
Yeah, we need to end things on a lighter note, like
what's a good one?
How about
what is your game of the game of the decade for you? Let's just say from 2010 till now.
Okay.
What is the game that you're gonna rate? We don't even have to explain it. We can just end on this.
Fuck.
What is the game for you that is the best game that has released in those 12 years?
Since 2010.
And I'm gonna tell you, if it's anything other than Skyrim, you're probably wrong.
It's definitely Skyrim.
Fuck you.
It's definitely Skyrim.
That horse that jumped over the goddamn mountain somehow.
True. He do be climbing the mountains real nice.
You're awake.
I think Skyrim, like the cultural impact that Skyrim had was pretty amazing. Just because like all the memes that just came out of that game.
Bro, the memes, dude, that game was like revolutionary when it came out.
It was.
There was even today, there's people that are still finding content in the game that they've never found before.
Absolutely.
That has to be one of the best Bethesda games ever created.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a really good topic to take up next week, because this would definitely lead into a 20-minute conversation for sure. I say we should close this off with some sort of aspiration for the future. Let's stay on topic. We were talking about games and toxicity. I say we close it up. I'm going to say my 2 cents. I'm going to say people should work on making a positive impact on gaming and social culture online. Quit being dickheads. Stop and take a step back when you're being a dickhead to someone. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe you're having a bad day. Quit being a dick. Just calm down. Take deep breaths.
Cut it out.
Chill out. Be positive.
Cut it out. Eat a cucumber.
Be positive towards people.
Be good to each other.
Don't eat a cucumber. They taste bad. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, sorry. Get a nice
Please.
Stick with some peanut butter, some raisins.
Please stop. Help. Get me out of here. What are your aspirations for the future gamers of the world? What would you tell them to make them realize that toxicity is a bad thing, not a funny thing?
What would I tell them?
Yeah.
To make them realize that toxicity is a bad thing?
Think of how much effort it takes to be toxic and how little effort it takes to not give a fuck.
It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Exactly.
You just put a fucking smile on your face, or just go by the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want to be treated like a piece of garbage, then be a piece of garbage. I never hear anybody quote the golden rule, bro. The golden rule was embedded into my brain as a young child.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
Just like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Never once heard you say the Pledge of Allegiance.
But I still know it like the back of my hand.
Oh my.
But I'm saying,
I'm not going to make you say it.
I'm saying, like, but people quoted all the time the golden rule. They said, remember the golden rule.
It's okay if it's in a 3-way?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's not, you can kiss your homies as long as you got your socks off.
Absolutely. And on that note.
Appreciate you guys listening to episode 2 of the CheekCast, no longer called the Porch Dog Podcast, but the CheekCast. We continued our talk about Toxicity. Next week, we're going to be touching on why Skyrim is probably the best game ever created next to Minecraft, and the impact it had on society as a whole, and why we are now driving hover cars because of Skyrim.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Watching? They weren't watching.
I'm looking at the camera. Shit.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Lisa, say thanks for watching.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Hit that little
and
bell.
Hit the little bell. If you have any stuff for us to improve on, feel free to let us know. Whether that's on Spotify or you come into the Discord or you comment on YouTube.
Also, write us a letter.
Write us a letter.
Buy stamps. Write us a fucking letter.
And if you listen to the end, don't forget, if you're a tier 3 sub to me on Twitch, we'll be sending out audience codes to listen to the podcast in real time. So keep an eye out for that.
Hear us being ridiculous.
Yeah, because there's you didn't really miss a lot, but you can actually be here and interact. There's a chat where you can talk and stuff. I think that's really interesting. It's like having a live studio audience. I think that's pretty cool. But
God, we're fancy.
I know we're super fancy.
Bro, next time we gotta start it off with the CheekCast is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
The CheekCast was recorded in front of a live studio audience on Riverside FM. Welcome back to the No, we're going to bed. We're getting off.
Dude, get the soundboard and have audience cheering when we come in. Be like,
I can actually do that, by the way. There is something.
I'm so excited.
But I'm not going to do that right now.
God.
But yeah.
Let's close this up. Let's wrap it up,
everybody.
boys. Wrap it up.
Good night.
Thank you for listening.
Say thank you for watching, Lisa. We said thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching / listening.
Thank you for watching.
Catch you next week.
Catch you next week.
Deuces.